One day, a poor man named Bansir, who was a chariot builder in Babylon, was sitting in front of his house and leaning on a wall. He was supposed to build a chariot and deliver it that day. After having a dream about being rich and buying all the things he wants, he woke up and gets slapped by reality. Not having any coin under him, he decided to not work that day. And for the first time, he started to wonder, what does it take to become rich? Why is he poor while others are rich? And also the simple wish that we all have deep within, an income that keeps overflowing in his pocket, whether he is leaning on the wall doing nothing or while he is working. His best friend Kobe, who was a musician, came by, and when he saw him not working, he blindly deduced that things are going well for him. So he asked him to lend him 2 shekels. Bansir got mad and tell him, "How am I supposed to lend you money when I have none? And why in the hell, after all those years of continuous hard work, we are left with nothing?" Kobe told him that he might have the answer for his questions. He told him that he should meet with Arkad, a very rich person. Some says that he is undoubtedly not only the richest but the most generous man in Babylon. Arkad's friends study under the same roof as him. Some of them were even better than him. Yet, he is the one living their dreams. They accuse him of being fortunate. After letting them talk, this was his answer. "If you haven't acquired more than a bare existence in the years since we were youth, it is because you either have failed to earn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you don't observe them. If he is that fortunate, how come that their friends, the majority of them who they inherited big fortunes, didn't make it, and aren't even close to where he is right now?" His friends and many people were eager to listen to his story, and especially about the secrets of wealth. Arkad was a wise man, and he started from scratch, and the lessons he shared are actually the exact path he took. Arkad addressed each student individually, and the purpose of this is simple. Every single person has something special that he can do. Maybe someone is good at acting, other in sports, one in handcrafting. The most important thing is that you have something to work for. Start by saving the 1/10 of whatever you earn. If you have $100, then keep 10 every month. If you earned 1,000, then keep 100, and so on. And whatever happened, whatever this amount of money is to set apart. As the time goes by, your management will get along just well, and you will notice something special. You will not be shorter than before. This is one of the most basic financial concepts, yet it is the most efficient and practical. How can a man keep 1/10 of his earning when all he earns isn't even enough to cover his necessary expenses? Never confuse necessary expenses with your desires. All men are burdened with more desires than they can gratify. Set a limit to yourself, and whatever happened, don't touch the 1/10 of your coins, and budget the expenses that they may have coins to pay for the necessities. Make your money work. Look for an investment. A man's wealth isn't the coins he carries in his purse, it is the income he built, the golden stream that continually flow in his pocket and keep it always bulging. This is what Arkad, the richest man in Babylon, did. His first profitable investment was a loan he made to a man named Agar, a shield maker. Lacking sufficient capital to pay the merchant, he borrows extra coins to get the last shipment of bronze, and at the end of each year, he repay Akkad. Together with a liberal rental, once he sell his shields, and by the magic of compounding, he started creating a stream of wealth that shall flow constantly in his purse. This is the fourth cure for a lean purse. It prevents the purse to be emptied once it has become well filled. Invest only where the principal is safe and where it can be reclaimed if desirable. Don't take big risk and invest with moderation by consulting wise men. Don't be overconfident. Better seek the wisdom of those who are experienced in handling money for profits to avoid the possible pitfall in your investments. Own your home. By owning your home, you're reducing the cost of living. Your only expenses are the king's taxes. Instead of paying the landlord huge amounts every now and then, That amount can be used to support one business or investment. A man should project his thoughts in the future. Don't be content of only what you get right now. Always think about new investments. As Arcad says, a man buy houses and lands for this purpose. It is wisely chosen for their usefulness and value in the future. They are permanent in their value, and their earning or their sale will provide well for this purpose. Another way is to loan a small sum to someone and increase it at a regular periods. And if this book was written almost 100 years ago, imagine what you can do at 2020. It takes only guts, good judgment, and a deep financial literacy to make it happen. This is the seventh cure and the last remedy for a lean purse. Wealth is accumulated, first in small sums, then in larger ones, as a man learns and becomes more capable. Every man desires should be strong but definite. Dreaming to get rich is vague, but dreaming to own specific items, let's say like a home, is attainable. Focus, be consistent, and get skillful on what you do. And the more you have a definite target, the more you increase your chances to earn more. There is no such thing as the goddess of luck. The luck is with whom who get opportunities. This is why when a good opportunity comes, the wisdom of making a payment immediately when we were convinced about our bargain is wise. The desire to be lucky is absolutely normal. Let's even say it's universal. Many people have many incredible opportunities, but they let them slide and don't take full advantage because of procrastination. So stop procrastinating and get the job done. Any man who sticks with the 1/10th rule and invests it wisely to create an estate for his future and for his family will surely get an increase in his wealth. The more you keep and invest, the more gold comes to you and in increased quantities. Don't get frustrated. If you're just piling up gold without finding a good investment at first, opportunities comes to the one who has a gold store set by. Never give up and be consistent with the first law of gold. The gold clings to the cautious and intelligent investor at the same rate that flies from the careless owner. The one who recognizes the advice of the wise man will avoid inevitable pitfalls. Don't be that inexperienced owner who invests in businesses with which he is not familiar with. Always go with what you are skilled and confident with. To avoid making wrong judgments, the wise investor is the one who invests his treasures under the advice of men skilled in the ways of gold. It's a continuation of the fourth law. Make good judgment. There is no place for inexperienced adventurers. We get excited about the thought of impossible earnings, neglecting the omnipresence of the risks that is always lurking behind every false promise of a sudden wealth. This exact chapter strikes me deep inside. Seeing it not having enough credit in the summaries and reviews, it is by far one of the most real life problems that can face anyone who accumulates wealth. It's going to affect your relation with your friends and relatives. What would you do if the closest person reached out to you asking you to lend him or her your treasure with a shaky promise that he would lend you the money back? This chapter is full of stories and lessons with moralities. I'll give you the pleasure to read them with an open eye because it reflects some of real life situations that we should somehow encounter them at a certain point of our life. Rodan is a skillful spear maker who did an amazing work for the king. Mesmerized by how pretty the artwork was, the king gives him 50 gold pieces, which is the equivalent of 50 years of hard work and consistent saving for our Rodan. Rodan is the kind of man who thinks outside the box. He went to our gold lender, Matt, asking him for advice. Mathan was surprised by someone stepping into his store asking him for advice instead of gold. He welcomed him sumptuously and gave him some wisdom. After push and pull, Rodan was convinced by the voice of reason instead of clinging to his feeling. The wise lender wishes not the risk of the undertaking, but the guarantee of safe payment. If you decide to lend so it may earn you more gold, then lend it with caution and in different places. This is why, even nowadays, diversifying your investment is proving to be the best way to reduce risk and to open up different streams of income. So no one should get swayed by false hopes of impractical men who came to you and promised you an unusually large profit. The walls of Babylon stood high and strong against the attacking enemies. The doors of Babylon endured century after century because it was fully protected. Even against surprise attacks, it repulsed the merciless attacks of the enemies lying to loot her rich treasures and enslave her citizens. And so is your wealth. You cannot afford to be without adequate protection. You should be prepared to face upcoming events that may shut down all what you have built. So be fully prepared and don't let your gold in the hands of the goddess of chance. Do you have the soul of a slave or a soul of a free man? This is the kind of questions that each one has to ask himself. Do we choose to surrender and to admit defeat or fight for our cause? Dabasir, the camel trader, was that kind of man who changed his destiny. Even after making huge mistakes and getting indebted left and right in Babylon, he becomes a slave. But after meeting with the first wife of his master, he realized that his biggest enemy is none other than himself. Whether submit to the voice asking him to give up and take the easy path, or to be a free man, to be a fighter and draw his own path. This latter decided to face his fears, to go back to Babylon and face his moneylenders and work hard to repay them and build his future. The 5 clay tablets are the heritage that Dabasir left for us. Those carved words describes how Dabasir, with the help of his wife and his friend Mathan, got to pay all his debts, one, by facing all his moneylenders and showing them his determination and honesty by applying the 1/10 rule for saving money and the 2/10 for paying back his debts and the rest for his home. Determination, consistency, hard work, and a real and attainable goal. This is what it takes to earn money, but especially to earn others' respect. In this final chapter, CAMEL ties all the lessons together with the story of Sharunada, a rich merchant, who tells his young companion Gula, the grandson of his business partner, the story of how his grandfather had become such a successful merchant. What I learned from it briefly is that hard work and seizing opportunities are truly the only key needed for everyone's future successes. And with time, effort, patience and discipline, each man will eventually improve his situation. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I see you guys next time.